Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the TGIF edition of the Afia Sports franchise. Of course, this is the Afia Sports Preview Square on Afia TV. The frequencies are still the same. They are locked and loaded on channel 254 DSTV, channel 17 GoTV, and channel 748 Free TV. Welcome, guys. I hope you're planning to have a very fruitful and responsible weekend, because emphasis is on that word responsible before you come with a hangover the next day. Well, it's great to know that the weekend is just here and we are about to go into it in style. My name is Sisi Emechebe. I'm also known as Sisi the Rabbi. And there is so much that we have to discuss this evening. There is a lot that's going down this weekend. So much happened over the past week, but the focus is on the preview of this weekend. And we have to look into matters. First of all, before I introduce my guests tonight, well, calling guest, calling co-host, and that even reminds me of something that somebody once said, sometimes, what do you call a person that is a host but behaves like a guest? Probably you call the person a ghost. I don't know. Make of that what you will. But first of all, we'll look at the headlines for today. And the headlines, Npfl live coverage, Afia TV has a partnership with Afia Sports to show one Npfl game every match week, and they're going to show it live on Afia TV. The studios usually open by 3:45 p.m., which is exactly 15 minutes to kick off. And the partnership continues this coming Monday the 16th of March, day of our Lord 2026. And the game is going to involve Ikorodu City and Rivers United. Oga Boys, of course, are going to be the hosts, playing host to Rivers United. Oga Boys, let's not forget, are in the title discussion. They are trying to win the Npfl title, but Rivers United are on top of the log right now. So this is a title 6-pointer. You can take that to the bank. So this is going to be a very important game. And Afia TV will be showing you that game live and direct by 3:45 p.m. on Afia TV, Ikorodu City and Rivers United. And then secondly, we have NFF news. The NFF is sometimes getting into the news for good reasons and sometimes for bad reasons. This is not the best of reasons, because it has come to our attention that the winners and defending champions of the President's Federations Cup, Kwara United, who by virtue of that President's Federations Cup gained a berth in the preliminary round of qualifiers for the CAF Confederations Cup, have not yet received their winnings, their cash prize. They've not received their cash prize. Since 2025, the NFF, this information has come out to you. You need to do something about it very quickly, because this is not very good for the optics of Nigerian football. Imagine a team that won the President's Federation Cup fair and square. And for those who don't remember, Kwara United won Abakaliki FC on penalties last time around to win the President's Federation Cup, and they gained a qualifying berth to the preliminary round of the CAF Confederations Cup alongside Abia Warriors, who finished third last season. So Rivers United, I beg your pardon, talking about Kwara United, they are yet to be paid. So the monies have to be paid as and when due. So the Nigerian Football Federation, please look into the matter and ensure that the laborers who are worthy of their wages get their wages when they should get them. Then the third bit of news that we have is from basketball. The Tigresses, the FIBA Afro-Basket winners, 5-time FIBA Afro-Basket winners, they, off the back of a very solid showing in the FIBA World Cup qualifiers there in South Korea, they beat Colombia by 70, I think that's weird. They beat them by 70 points to 57 points, but they suffered a bit of a setback when they faced the host, South Korea, and they lost 77 points to 60 points. So that is something that the girls under the leadership of Rena Wakama have to do something about, because they are hot favorites too. They are very, very formidable, a very strong side that we hope to see do what needs to be done in the FIBA World Cup. But for them to play in the FIBA World Cup, they have to pass through the qualifiers and come out unscathed. So that is what we have for the headline news. We are going to go on a very, very short break, and then we'll give you the major details of what we're discussing today. Remember, this is the Afia Sports Preview Square on Afia TV. Stay tuned. Don't touch that dial. So welcome back to the Afia Sports Preview Square on Afia TV, and we are here to continue with from where we stopped. The Npfl, the Nigerian Premier Football League, is bringing up some very, very big twists and turns every now and then, and there's a bit of a twist in the tail at every point in time. We have to begin from the home front. You know, the Nigerian Premier Football League is getting into match week 30 from this weekend, which means 8 games will be remaining for the Npfl to show us what the final standings are going to look like. What are we talking about in the final standings? Who's going to win the league? Who's going to qualify alongside the league winners for the CAF Champions League? Who's going to finish third for the CAF Confederations Cup? Who's going to end up winning the President's Federation Cup to get that second slot for the CAF Confederations Cup? Who's going down? Which of the 4 teams are going down to the relegation waters and then swimming all the way to the NNL? These are different things that are going to happen. We're going to find out, and it's just 8 games to go. Well, we're going to kick off with this. And I have here my co-host, the man that, just because of the ordeals he has to go through, I'm going to show my humane side and not yab him. You know, I have the exclusive right to yab him at any time, at the drop of a hat, but I choose not to yab him. I choose not to mock him. I choose not to say more than necessary, but I'll just empathize with him right now. I'm talking about none other than the self-acclaimed, okay, that's not mocking, but it's self-acclaimed. The self-acclaimed priest of football, Femelo himself, Emeka Madoke. Emeka?
It's a pleasure to be here, Mr. Sisi.
It's great. See, changing face caps like somebody's changing the economy, but it's nice.
I had to change the look a bit.
Yeah, it's very, very important. Okay, so we're going to give you the breakdown on the Npfl fixtures that are coming up this weekend. First of all, we have Bendel Insurance, who are going to be hosting Kun Khalifat. That will be the only game tomorrow. Bendel Insurance hosting Kun Khalifat at the Samuel Mumudia Stadium in Benin City. Then El Kanemi Warriors will begin proceedings on Sunday the 15th, playing their game by 3 p.m. where they host Katsina United. Then by 3:30 p.m., Barao FC will host Abia Warriors. And then the rest of the fixtures for that Sunday will be by 6 p.m., where we're going to have Remo Stars, the beleaguered and troubled Remo Stars. They are currently rock bottom and they're the defending champions. What an irony. But they'll be hosting Nassau United. Then you also have Eimba hosting Plateau United. And then Kwara United will be hosting Enugu Rangers. That's Rangers International, the Flying Antelopes. Shooting Stars of Ibadan, 3SC will be hosting Wiki Tourists. Niger Tornadoes will be hosting Kano Pillars. And then Bayelsa United will be hosting Warrior Wolves. Ikorodu City Oga Boys will host Rivers United, like we pointed out. That's the only game that's going to be played on Monday. And that's the game that's going to be shown live on Afia TV by 3:45 p.m. when the studios open to the game proper, kicking off by 4 p.m. That's in conjunction and in collaboration with Afro Sports. That's the game. So these are games that are there. Looking at Rangers International. Rangers are kings of the home front. They've turned the cathedral to a fortress. And we're happy about that because it's playing a major role in ensuring that the Flying Antelopes are in the title discussion.
Yes.
Aside Rivers United, who suffered a setback just yesterday in their game against 3SC, that's in Ibadan. They went to Ibadan and then they left with nothing. They didn't get any points. Now they have just 1 game in hand, but they are 2 points clear of Rangers with the game in hand. So a lot can happen between now and then. But Rangers themselves have not been very, should I say, effective on the road, convincing on the road. 2 wins on the road. Those were wins at Remo Stars.
Yes.
And a 1-0 win, and then a win in Owerri, Daniel Stadium in Owerri, against Kun Khalifat, 2-1. Yes. So those are the only wins they've recorded on the road. So the chances of Rangers International getting not more than a point in this game are very high. Although we are hopeful, those of us who are here in the Southeast are hopeful that Rangers will change the narrative in this final part of the season and win it. Because Rangers and Rivers United seem to be the ones going neck in neck.
I mean, you can never discredit Nassau United because when you look at the table, it's very tight from first to third. 2 points between the leaders and Enugu Rangers. Then it's about 3 points between Enugu Rangers and
50
Nassau
points and
United.
47 points.
So it's very tight. Any slip-up from Enugu Rangers, you could see Nassau United climbing into second. Any slip-up from Rivers United, Enugu Rangers can go to first. So it's very tight going into the last day, and we have 8 games to go. These are the end games now. We have to look at it as crunch time. You can't afford to drop points. Even 1 point is not enough for you. You have to get as many 3 points as you can. If you can't get all 3 points, manage for a draw. Defeat is not an option at this point in the Npfl. You have to keep on going for the win, keep going on for everything you have. Enugu Rangers, yes, they've not been so impressive on the road. Only the 2 wins, like we pointed out. Now you have to look at it now. This now becomes the 3rd win against Katsina United. You have to now from there keep going and going. Every away game, every home game, you play it like it's the last game of the season, like it's a cup final. You have to keep going, you have to keep going. The coaches have to draw out the game plans. Players have to stick to it. And that's just what has happened.
Well, I think basically we need to... I'm going to get predictions very soon, but looking at this table as it stands right now, you're looking at a situation whereby Rangers are in a strong place to capitalize on any slip-up. And the only game that is left, that game in hand, we're talking about that Rivers United have, is another tricky away game to Niger Tornadoes. Now, Niger Tornadoes themselves are they'll be in action, but Niger Tornadoes have an objective too. You pointed out something. I'm going to read the table so we can see. Niger Tornadoes you could say that they are safe right now because they're in 13th on the log, but they are not really safe because they are just 2 points above the relegation zone. Aimba is in 17th. Niger Tornadoes is 13th. But they have 2 points, 35 points to 33 points. That's Aimba's 33 points. So that means Niger Tornadoes have a massive incentive to win at home in front of their home fans, a bit to protect their Npfl status. So they could be killing 2 birds with 1 stone if they defeat Rivers United. That means they could be helping secure their status, their Npfl status.
Yes.
And then at the same time, handing the initiative to Rangers. So how do you see this playing out?
When we look at this type of scenario where it's tight at both ends of the table, it's very interesting to watch, and it's one that you have to keep your eye on, not just one end of the Npfl, but the other end. Like on one hand, now it's 2 points separating the 13th to 17th place. Anyone from 13th down to 16th can slip into the relegation waters, and this is what is interesting, because now you look at this, Nigerian Tornadoes will be wanting to make sure that they don't enter the relegation zone at home against Rivers United. That is where I believe Rivers United shot themselves in the leg by losing to 3SC yesterday. Because if they had won that game yesterday, they'll be a bit safer in this title race. Now, any slip-ups, a draw or a defeat, could land Rangers in very, very sweet waters at the top of the table. Any slip-ups from Rangers, then you could see Nassau United, flogging into the competition, saying, now they want to get a tighter grip on this title race. And any more slip-ups from there, who knows, they might just clinch it at the end of the table. Now, this is what you have to look at. There are 3 scenarios you have to look at when you're checking the 3 teams that are going for the title. At first glance, you have to look at Rivers United, who had games in hand. Now it's just down to 1. And it is tight because it is just 2 points after those games in hand that they've played, which means they didn't really utilize their games in hand. Now, you look at Enugu Rangers, who fought their way from a haphazard season into the top of the table, and now they find themselves in the title race. This is crunch time. I mean, it's gold mine that they've hit. You can't get this opportunity again. Any slip-ups now, you're falling out of the title race. From going not even being in the conversation to being in the conversation. You have it only to yourself to blame if you don't get any opportunities to clinch the title at the end of the race. If Rivers United keep slipping up. Now, a slip-up on their game on Monday against Ikorodu City will be dangerous for them, because that means they have all to do against Niger Tornadoes, who will be looking to also get themselves safer away from the relegation zone, which means you really bank on Enugu Rangers capitalizing more than Rivers United securing their place on top. Because the next 2 games are not easy fixtures for them. Aga boys are not, Ikorodu City are not boys that you can just go and walk over. They're not a walkover. That is a very solid team. They were once in the title race. 1 or 2 slip-ups found themselves in 5th place. That's sad for them. But now they know that, okay, they can still go for the preliminary rounds. The same thing for Nigerian Tornadoes who want to escape from relegation. So these are not two easy fixtures coming up from Rivers United. Any slip-ups, Enugu Rangers has the all to do to leapfrog into the top and cement their place there.
Okay, and we just have to be hopeful that happens. I mean, prejudice is something we try to avoid. Bias is something we try to avoid. But for crying out loud, we're here in the coal city and we know what
Why not go
Rangers
for it?
stands
Why not
for.
hope? Why not pray?
Yeah, we should now. But it's not just about vibes and inshallah. We know that Rangers International have really been extremely solid and under the tutelage of the man himself, Fidelis Ilechukwu, the coach, the gaffer, the chief technical advisor of Rangers International. And then, of course, under the tutelage and the administrative stewardship of our very own Barrister Amobi Ezeaku. So we know that Rangers have what it takes to pounce on the situation that they find in front of them, the opportunity that they have. So looking at the table right now, before we take predictions, look at Rivers United are on top, only just. They have a game in hand, but they have 52 points. And then Rangers International have 50 points in second place. Nassau United have 47 points in third place. Abia Warriors are just behind by 1 point in fourth. And the Ikorodu City Oga Boys are fifth on the log with their own 45 points. Shooting Stars of Ibadan have 44 points. That's sixth on the log. Mendel Insurance and El Kanemi Warriors share 41 points, but they're seventh and eighth, respectively. Likewise, Warri Wolves and Plateau United, they both share 39 points, but they are ninth and 10th, respectively. Katsina United are 11th with 38 points. Barao FC are 12th with 37 points. And then we have Niger Tornadoes, Wiki Tourists, and Kano Pillars. That's Northern Trio, who have 35 points, but goal difference puts them in 13th, 14th, and 15th, respectively. Bayelsa United are hovering, and emphasis on the word hovering just about the relegation quagmire with 34 points. And then, of course, in the relegation zone, you have the 9-time champions, Eimba, who have 33 points in 17th. Kwara United are 18th with 32 points. The same number of points as Kun Khalifat, the newbies from the NNL, who are 19th. And then the Atlas of the Npfl table as it stands, the ones carrying the world on their shoulders, are the defending champions, Remo Stars, with 30 points. That is really sad and sickening. But it is what it is. Now let's get to predictions very quickly because of time. Okay. Bendel Insurance, Kun Khalifat.
Draw. 1-1 draw.
1-1 draw, okay. El Academy Warriors, Katsina United.
Katsina United, 2-1.
Barao FC, Abia Warriors.
Abia Warriors, 3-1.
Remo Stars, Nassau United.
Nassau United, 4-1.
4-1 away. Yeah, you hate Remo Stars. Eimba, Plateau United.
Eimba, 2-2 draw with Plateau United.
Kwara United and Enugu Rangers.
Enugu Rangers, 2-1 victory.
Okay, a third away win.
Yes.
Let's hope so. 3SC, that is Shooting Stars of Ibadan and Wiki Tourists.
Shooting Stars to win 3-1.
Niger Tornadoes and Kano Pillars, same as Shugida.
Niger Tornadoes, 2-1.
Bayelsa United and Warri Wolves.
Warri Wolves, 2-1.
And Monday night football or Monday evening football serves us with Ikorodu City Oga Boys and Rivers United. What say you?
Who is at home?
Oga Boys is in Lagos.
Home victory for Oga Boys, 2-1.
You're handing this to Rangers.
Yes,
that's
definitely.
Nice. Me likey. Okay, so having said that, that's the way the predictions look for the Npfl this weekend. Round 30, and let's not forget that Rivers United will have played their game in hand within the next couple of days after they play against Ikorodu City, because that game in hand is also an away game against Niger Tornadoes. So talking about that, we didn't really have the time to do that. This is the best opportunity to officially, as a station, Afia TV, to extend our heartfelt condolences to the family of the late Chief Adeboye Festus Onigbinde, the gaffer himself, the former coach of the Super Eagles of Nigeria. Several times he's been a technical advisor and the coach of the Super Eagles of Nigeria. Somebody who was responsible for giving some of Nigeria's most iconic players their debuts. Vincent Enyama is one of the people that enjoyed his debut under Coach Onigbinde, and that was in the 2002 World Cup in Korea, Japan, where he dazzled. Yes, Nigeria had already crashed out losing 1-0 to Argentina thanks to a Gabriel Batistuta goal, and then losing 2-1 to Sweden thanks to a brace from Henrik Larsson from the penalty spot, although Julius Ogawa scored the only goal in that tournament for Nigeria, and I can never forget that backflip that he did when he scored that goal. But Vincent Enyama made his debut and let the veteran Ikorodu sit it out, and he kept a clean sheet in a goalless draw against the Three Lions of England. And it was Festus Onigbinde, Adeboye Festus Onigbinde, that gave him his call out, his run out. Onigbinde died at the age of 88, just 4 days after his 88th birthday, and that was on the 9th of March, 2026. He was the former coach of the Super Eagles of Nigeria. He coached Nigeria several times, but key from 1981 to 1984, one of his highlights was leading the Super Eagles of Nigeria, Green Eagles then at the time, leading them to the African Cup of Nations final, but losing to Cameroon 3-1 in 1984. So that was what happened there. He also led Shooting Stars of Ibadan to the African Club Champions Cup and lost the finals to Zamalek of Egypt. And just like we pointed out, he also took Nigeria to the World Cup in 2002. He was the first indigenous manager that took the Super Eagles of Nigeria to the World Cup, a feat that was replicated by the late Stephen Okechukwu Keshi in the year 2014. So it's something that we are proud of. We're proud that we have been associated with this man, the man, the legend himself, a coaching guru, a teacher, a tactical storyteller, one who really understood what it meant to serve his country, especially from the touchline. Every time Coach Onigbinde would be on the touchline, he was there like a stoic presence there, a symbol of discipline. You dare not mess up when he's on the touchline. Not saying anything, not moving, just gesticulating a little bit, not animated, but everybody respected themselves. Such was the aura of the great man. I don't know, Emeka, if you know much about Coach Festus Onigbinde.
Only little fragments of what he had did. I mean, I didn't grow up in that era, but I've heard tales of what he did for the national side, his different spells with the country, the importance of what he did and the players he brought about in this national team. He'll be sadly missed. I mean, he's one of the greats to have actually gone through this country's football federation, put it in shape. I don't want to say too much. The country needs more of him if we are to progress in this football federation.
Yes, I mean, a classic coach of coaches, and he'll be sorely missed. So once again, our sincerest condolences go out to the family of the late Chief Adeboye Festus Onigbinde. We will go on a very short break and return after this to give you other bits of news regarding what's going down in the world of sports this weekend. Stay tuned, don't touch that down. You're welcome back to the Afia Sports Preview Square on Afia TV. The frequencies are still the same, locked and loaded as usual. Channel 254 DSTV, Channel 17 Go TV, and Channel 748 Free TV. Welcome back, guys. And I want to use this opportunity to say a big thank you to Emeka Madoka, the self-acclaimed priest of football, somebody who, like I said, I promised I wouldn't say this, so let me not say it. All the same, thank you very much for being on the set in the first part, but every good run comes to an end. And speaking of his watch ending, the watch of the man that is usually called him, the man that calls himself the talisman, the self-acclaimed talisman. I don't know how talismanic, I don't know how supersonic his talismanic tendencies are.
Social, man.
All the same.
Let's go there.
So, should we? Let me even talk. Let me not say that. Well, no problem. We have none other than Isaac KP himself, the talisman.
But today the super sub
Super sub.
Let's go there. Thank you.
Performing super sub. Super sub, man. As you can score 4 goals against Wimbledon. Let me hear a word. I know about a little league on the socials, 4 goals that he scored in 12 minutes against Wimbledon and 8-1 away win. I remember vividly. I don't think you can even trap a ball of paint. Anyway, a ball of glue. I beg your pardon. Not even paint. I'm even helping you by saying paint.
I'll take you up on that one. No problem.
No problem. All right, good to have you here.
Yeah, it's always a pleasure.
All right, so we're going straight to the other part of the Afia Sports Preview Square, and we're looking at what's going down this weekend in the world of football in Europe. And normally we begin where the drama ensues after a very poor outing, which we'll talk more about tomorrow during the Afia Home of Sports. after a poor outing for the English sides in the UEFA Champions League, the hostilities will be resumed this weekend, where the English Premier League clubs will lock horns with each other. And it's going to begin with tomorrow's games. Sunderland will host Brighton and Hove Albion at the Stadium of Light in Wearside, that is the southeast of England. No, sorry, I beg your pardon, the northeast of England. And then Burnley will host Bournemouth there in Lancashire, Manchester to be precise. That's going to be by 4 p.m. also on Saturday. Then the late kickoff, one of the late kickoffs will be by 6:30 p.m. where the title hopefuls, Arsenal Football Club, will host Everton at Emirates Stadium. And they have a big opportunity to go 10 points clear of Manchester City, who will still play after them. The same time, Chelsea will play Newcastle United at Stamford Bridge in southwest London. And then the latest kickoff for that day, Saturday, the 14th day of the month of March, the year of our Lord 2026, you have Manchester City traveling to the London Stadium in East London to face West Ham United, a Man City that will be trying to pick up the pieces of their dignity that was shattered by Fede Valverde after his hat-trick for Real Madrid. We'll talk about that tomorrow. Then, of course, on Sunday, we're going to have a 3 p.m. kickoff between Manchester United and Aston Villa at Old Trafford. Very tough game indeed. Then also you're going to have Nottingham Forest, who are coming off the back of losing a game away at home, to Midtjylland in the UEFA Europa League. They are going to be hosting Fulham at the Forest Ground in the Midlands. Crystal Palace will be hosting Leeds United at Selhurst Park in London. Then I guess it's safe to say that this is the fixture of the weekend, where Liverpool will welcome Tottenham Hotspur to Anfield. Liverpool, remember, lost to Galatasaray, and they will be looking for a way to inflict damage on anybody that comes their way. And unfortunately, damaged goods will come their way, because Tottenham Hotspur were battered and bruised 5-2 by Atletico Madrid. No rest for the weary, because they are going to Anfield to face Liverpool at the Merseyside. Then on Monday, we're going to have Brentford hosting Wolverhampton Wanderers at the GTEC Community Stadium by 9 p.m. Where to start? Okay, first of all, the team that most people call the title favorites right now, because things have been swinging in their favor right now. Things have been going well. Only 3 losses in the whole season in all competitions, and that's in the Premier League. Arsenal have a massive opportunity to open up a 10-point advantage. Yes, they would have played 2 games more than Manchester City, but there's always a psychological boost by seeing that you have a massive gap between you and the chasing pack. Yeah. And like we always say, a game in hand is not always equivalent to 3 points in the bag. Man City have shown that they are not, unlike yesteryears, Manchester City have not shown the kind of bite necessary in catching up. Playing catch-up has been difficult for them this season. And just imagine Pep Guardiola watching and then seeing Arsenal get a win. Now, it's not yet done, but Arsenal are hoping and planning and working towards getting a win to complete the double over Everton Football Club, where the master meets the apprentice. Of course, those who don't know what I'm talking about, David Moyes was the man that gave Mikel Arteta his first break in England, took him from Rangers and then brought him to England. So he came to English football for the first time in 2005 and played in Everton for 6 years before joining Arsenal. So he owes him that. But the master and the apprentice, we see how it goes. How significant will this particular game at the Emirates be, considering how Arsenal season have gone so far and the objective that they have?
It's the first thing I'll say about the significance of the game is, as the games progress, every game becomes more significant for Arsenal, because it's a step closer to the title. And I really hope is one they can pick up all 3 points. The issue with Arsenal most of the time, at a time like this, if you watch the games at the Emirates, if you've been to the Emirates, you notice that there is this anxiety that can be felt in the stadium. Maybe when they are not leading, or it's just a narrow, maybe 1-0 advantage. And I think this anxiety can be transmitted to the players sometimes. So I think Arsenal now need the fans actually to be on side, no matter what's happening, whether the game is still 0-0, 76 minutes, they need them to support, not to be anxious or anything. And I think Arsenal can actually get over the line. I don't think they'll have a better opportunity to actually win the Premier League. Like, I don't think I've had a better opportunity. And this time around, I'm hoping that Arteta can get his boys together. A poor showing, obviously, midweek against Leverkusen, but I think the priority right now should be the Premier League. And Arsenal fans are, perhaps dreaming of the quadruple, but right now all focus has to be on the Premier League.
One at a time.
Yeah, just focus on the Premier League. After you can sort out the Carabao Cup, you can sort out the FA Cup, you can sort out the Champions League. Those ones are still, maybe they may still be a stretch. The Carabao Cup and the Premier League are the ones that are actually within sight of winning. So I think I still need to focus on that. About Pep Guardiola and Manchester City, the issue I've seen with them is, they're in a rebuilding phase right now.
Yes.
Yeah, Manchester City are rebuilding. These are not the players they had before. Many players are declining. Pep is replacing them. And they don't have that bite, as you said. It's not longer there. I was speaking with a friend of mine earlier today, and we're just reminiscing about Kevin De Bruyne. Imagine Kevin De Bruyne in this title run in chasing Arsenal. It would have been crazy. Like, he may not have caught up, but you could guarantee that there will be something on the line. And those games would have meant more. But I think they're in a rebuilding phase. People like Ryan Cherky, Tijani Reinders are still being integrated into the squad to understand what Pep wants. And the second thing about that, they are not as good as the players have gone. And and this is not a criticism. They may never be as good. It's just because the legendary status of who Kevin De Bruyne was, David Silva, all those players that actually were integral to Manchester City winning those 4 Premier League titles in a row. Yeah. And you remember someone, even Rodri, watching Rodri of recent, he doesn't have it. Even some Manchester City fans are beginning to criticize him, saying they prefer Nico Gonzalez to play because he has more athleticism in him. And Pep has a lot of things to think about and a lot of things to do for this particular season, because we don't know whether he's going to be here next season. I know he would have loved to win the Premier League title before saying goodbye. That would have been a perfect farewell. So he may decide to stay one more season to see if he can win, if he doesn't win it this time around. But I think this year, everything is aligning for Arsenal, and I'm happy for them. That's just all I can say.
Okay, I'll just ask 2 questions very quickly before I get to one other match. There's just one other match that we'll talk about, but I'll ask 2 questions first of all. Since you raised up the issue of Pep Guardiola now in Manchester City, the first question is this: how much of a psychological lift do you think Pep and his boys, his charges, will need because of that chastening defeat? Because let's tell ourselves the truth. Very few people saw that scoreline. Yeah. Very few people saw the outlets that they would have been 4-0 down if not for Donnarumma sparing his blushes, saving Vinny Junior's penalty. But this is a Real Madrid side that's decimated.
Yes.
Injuries. No Jude Bellingham, no Kylian Mbappe, no
Eder
Militao. Even Ferland Mendy picked up an injury. People, very, very important parts of that team have been missing. So people, considering the fact that the last time Real Madrid faced Manchester City was in a league phase and they with relative ease beat them at the same Santiago Bernabeu 2-1. So you would say, okay, fine, we'll go there. It's just a piece of cake, but it was anything but a piece of cake. We saw that of all people, the captain himself, Fede Valverde, who plays at right back sometimes, but he's actually a central midfielder, scored a hat-trick. He was in the right place at the right time. So that must have gutted the players, must have gutted Pep Guardiola. So first question is this: how much of a psychological boost do you think Manchester City need, even though on paper they are expected to win West Ham United at the London Stadium, but the dynamic has changed slightly in terms of their mentality. Yeah. Their mentality has been battered right now. They need to prove that they are the mentality monsters they claim to have been. That's the first question. I'd like you to tackle that. Then secondly, you talked about the fact that Arsenal fans sometimes exhibit a bit of anxiety at the Emirates Stadium, but the stats don't seem to, I agree. I've seen some of that, but the stats don't seem to tally with that. Why? Because Arsenal have played 14 games in the Emirates Stadium. They've won 11. And most of those wins have been very, very phenomenal wins. And that means they've dropped points only 3 times. 2 draws. And the 2 draws, funny enough, the 3 games that they dropped points to were against people that you would expect them to do that. They lost to Manchester United. The only place. Can you just keep a poker?
I needed you to say that.
Keep a poker face. My friend, keep a poker face. Try your best. Prove your professionalism and keep a poker face.
I just want to hear it again.
I will not say it again. So that was a loss.
Yeah.
Then the other 2 games, At home, they drop points. They
Manchester
drew with
City.
Manchester City and then against Liverpool.
Yeah.
And you would understand that these are the last two winners of the English Premier League. So you would expect that.
Yeah.
Manchester United, a bogey side anytime, any day. So this happens. The anxiety didn't, anxiety or no anxiety, 11 wins out of 14. That's got to be a massive home record.
And I must say that's a massive home record. But what I'm just trying to say is that I believe Arsenal can actually do more. I think in Europe, I think most pundits will agree Arsenal are the most difficult team to beat. Yes. They may not be the most entertaining team that scores the most goals, but to break them down, you actually have to do a lot right. That's what I have to say. But now when it comes to those fine margins, I think Arsenal can win games by better margins if that anxiety is not there. Citing the game against Manchester United, the moment Manchester United equalized, you could even hear this from Ian Wright. He was there present in the stadium. You could see the anxiety levels at the Emirates were rising. People were like, oh no, it's going to happen again. And right now, what I'm saying, if I'm someone of Arsenal persuasion, I would not like this to be transmitted to the players because Arsenal have a chance for the first time in history to do an unprecedented quadruple.
But while you hold on, Anton, I would like to counter something there. Taking nothing away from Manchester United's win over Arsenal, let's look at context is key.
Yeah.
Manchester United at that point had played only one game in 9 days. Arsenal had played 4.
Yeah.
4. Yeah. So you have to understand that they were leggy, fatigue had stepped in. You saw the poor performance of some key players who you would expect more from people like Zubimendi and Co. So I'm just trying to give some context there. It could have happened. It could have been a major issue, and then that anxiety.
But you know what I'm saying? Like in a moment like that,
yes.
And Zubimendi makes the mistake, they concede to Mbeumo. I'm just trying to say, from that persuasion, the fans have to lift the players up. This time I don't have to be, oh my God, it's happening again. It's going to happen again. They're going to score us again.
So the 12th man has to rise.
Yes, they have to rise to the occasion because I think Arsenal can achieve so much with that 12th man this season. They can achieve so much. Leave all the criticism from the likes of John Obi Mikel. We don't have time to talk about that today probably, but leave all those crap criticism.
No, that would be a waste of.
Yeah, so you have to throw it away, and if the fans can just focus on the players, Arteta has a chance to do something great for Arsenal. If you can focus on that this season, then next season maybe they can focus on the style of football has to improve. Can we just get over the line this season and carry the players along? And I think Arsenal are going to do mind-blowing things.
Okay, then remember the first question we talked about, the psychological lift that Man City needs.
About that, when I think about that, I don't think they will need much of a psychological lift, and here's my reason. It may surprise people, but I think Guardiola has suffered many of these big defeats on UCL nights in Manchester City. Yeah. In 9 years, Guardiola has won 1 Champions League for Manchester City. And people may say, wow, at least he won a Champions League, but when they brought him, I don't think that was the idea.
It was never
well, that was the mindset they had. Oh, he's going to win 1 Champions League for us in a decade, and he has been able to at least lift the players to compete in the Champions League. I don't think they're going to need much of a psychological lift. As much as it was a disappointing defeat and nobody expected, is Real Madrid we're talking about. Real Madrid has have that spirit of they just turn up in the Champions League. I was listening to an interview from Gary Bale, and he was talking about how the president, Florentino Perez, he just gives that importance. Say a day before the Champions League game, he's at the hotel telling players how much it means. He doesn't do that for league games because it's the Champions League that matters to Real Madrid. So, the side they lost to, they can have it in mind and say, okay, we have to bounce back against West Ham now. We are chasing Arsenal, and we cannot allow anything to slip. So I don't think they need much of a psychological lift. They just need to be locked in, focused, and they know they are better than West Ham. If they can lock in, they beat West Ham. If they are still slumping in defeat about Real Madrid, West Ham is going to capitalize.
Okay. So just very quickly, let's go to one. Some things in life are constant: rain, taxes, death. Then Tottenham Hotspur being Spursy, and this time against Liverpool. Liverpool had their number last season, the title win, and they were not this bad.
Yes.
Now, this time around, even though I know football is not mathematics, they had a big opportunity in the reverse fixture, and that was at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Yes. But a red card, another silly red card as usual, made Liverpool have the advantage, and they beat them 2-1.
Let's not talk about Romero and Van de Ven.
No, leave. No, I mean, if you want to decimate your entire back line due to brain farts and tactical bloopers that make you go off. Fine, be my guest. But looking at this side, Tottenham Hotspur against Liverpool, a Liverpool side who currently are 6th on the log. So Liverpool have a battle. They want to be in the Champions League. They've seen the damage that the coefficient, the English coefficient is potentially going to have because of the Champions League showing. So they must make sure that they finish in the Champions League places and do the best that they can. That means, from all indications, they have home advantage. They're seeing Tottenham Hotspur as an obstacle. They will show no mercy. They have to step up. Tottenham, on the other hand, are fighting for survival because Tottenham are 16th on the log, just a point above safety. How is this game going to play out? Between Ikorodu, who himself, I think Ikorodu must be saying by now, Paulo didn't explain this very well to me. Hey, those who know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. Ikorodu, 3 consecutive defeats. Yes, you could say the 3 consecutive defeats were London derbies. Okay, now this is not a London derby, but it's against the defending champions. How bad is it for Ikorodu, and how much of a relief do you think Aaron Slot is going to have getting into this game?
Honestly speaking, it's very disappointing so far from Ikorodu. Yeah, Tottenham, I've been giving a lot of excuses for Tottenham over the course of the season. Their major creative players are missing, so most of the time their games they don't create a lot of chances.
Very lacking life.
Yes. So, but I think even when you don't have creative players, I think you have some options to play in a different approach. That's when the big managers earn their money. And I think Ikorodu is out of his depth. That's what I'm going to say. I'm not saying he's a horrible manager, but I don't think he has what it takes to lead this group of players or to make sure they escape relegation. And I'm going to tell you what's going to play out. Liverpool this weekend are going to lose. Tottenham this weekend are going to lose to Liverpool, and he's going to be sacked. 0% winning record, 100% losing record, and they now have to find a manager. Maybe Sean Dyche. But I was hearing some whispers within the week that Sean Dyche is not willing to go there because, having your name attached to a Big 6 club relegation, nobody wants any of that. But they need a coach right now, not a coach coming to play attractive football, someone that knows how to keep a team up and knows how to fight relegation.
One name pops out in my mind. It's just that the last time he tried that, West Bromwich Albion went down. Talk about none other than Big Sam Allardyce.
Yeah.
That's the only name that comes to my mind right now.
They need someone. Even if they're going to go the route of Tony Pulis, anybody, just I know. Their time in football has passed. But what I'm just trying to say, they need someone now that's going to keep them up because it will be a tremendous disaster for Tottenham Hotspur to get relegated. I don't know why people are dipping it. They were Europa League winners last season, and that shows how bad Amorim was for Manchester United, that they lost to this team that's battling relegation right now. We lost the Europa League final.
You just had to drag Amorim into it. You just had to.
Honestly speaking, and I hope they don't get relegated. Honestly speaking, I wouldn't like to see any of the Big 6 get relegated, but it's not looking good for Tottenham. I think West Ham is showing fight right now. Nottingham Forest is showing fight. Leeds are showing fight. So Tottenham is the only team there showing no fight. They may actually finish 19th, not even 18th.
Let's see how it goes.
Yeah.
Let me keep my opinions to myself regarding Tottenham. Let's look at the matches and let's just get very quick predictions so we can tie up. We have very limited time. Sunderland, Brighton, scores.
Sunderland, Brighton. I'm going to give this one to Sunderland. 1-0 win.
Okay, Burnley, Bournemouth.
Burnley versus Bournemouth. I think Bournemouth is going to try their best. 2-1 win to Bournemouth.
Bournemouth, away win for Bournemouth.
Yes.
Arsenal, Everton.
Everton. I think it's going to be a routine 2-0 win for Arsenal.
Then Chelsea, Newcastle United.
Chelsea, Newcastle, very interesting game. After disappointing results in midweek, I'm going to give this one to Chelsea, 2-1 win.
West Ham United, Man City.
1-1.
That's okay. Man United, Aston Villa.
This game is just making me tense, honestly.
Carrick and Emery.
Many people are predicting Manchester United win, but I struggle to see it. But 2-1 win to Manchester United.
Okay, let's see. Nottingham Forest and Fulham.
I hope Fulham win this game, so I'm just going to give it to them. 2-1 win to Fulham.
Crystal Palace, Leeds United.
Leeds. I'm going to give them to Leeds. 1-0 win for Leeds.
And away win for Leeds at Selhurst Park.
Yes.
Okay. Then Liverpool, Tottenham Hotspur.
I hope Tottenham can win this game, actually, but I see Liverpool going to be too strong for them. 3-1 win.
I hope it's not a business strategy. And then Brentford, Wolverhampton Wanderers.
Lot long throws to the rescue. Coyote
to the rescue. Coyote.
2-0 win for Brentford.
And okay, 2-0 win. I think you put your money where your mouth is. I would even add to that 2-0 win. Igor Thiago is on the score sheet, and Coyote's rocket launchers play a part in this win. Take that to the bank.
Wouldn't be a surprise.
Okay, and maybe Dango Tara might. Well, anyway, let's see how that goes. Now let's move very quickly because of time to the Spanish La Liga. La Liga games are going down this weekend. Round 28 in the Spanish La Liga. Alaves will be hosting Villarreal by 9 p.m. tonight. And then Saturday, I beg your pardon, you're going to have Girona hosting Athletic Bilbao, Athletic Club. Then Atletico Madrid will host Getafe. That's going to be a Madrid derby by 4:15 p.m. And then Real Oviedo by 6:30 p.m. will host Valencia. Then Real Madrid will have the late kickoff on Saturday where they host Elche. Then on Sunday, we're going to have Mallorca hosting Espanyol, and then Barcelona hosting Sevilla. Then Real Betis hosting Celta Vigo. Real Sociedad hosting Osasuna, and Rayo Vallecano hosting Levante. That's going to be the Sunday game in the Spanish La Liga. So that is about as much as we can take for that in the sports. Basically sports news. We're going to call it a day today because we're going to, every other thing you need to know about that tomorrow, make sure you tune into the Afia Home of Sports by 10:30 a.m. on Afia TV. Thank you very much, KP, the talisman himself.
Always a pleasure.
Self-acclaimed talisman.
Self-acclaimed superstar.
I almost called you Otondo-ish talisman, but let's leave that aside. Thank you very much. And thank you very much, everyone who's been working behind the scenes. The camera personnel, the cinematographers, I want to just, give them their stees. That's what they need there for doing a fantastic job there. Thank you very much. Sammy, thank you very much. Wisdom, thank you very much. Praise. And then in the MCR, it is the man himself, Jonathan, thank you very much for what you do. And then we also say big thank you in the PCR to our dear Chiamaka Swipe. Thank you, I appreciate you. And then, of course, thank you for everyone working behind the scenes there. The priest of football, self-acclaimed priest of football, has gone to do his job behind the scenes. So thank you for what you do. Also, I'll acknowledge the one that shines bright like a diamond. Diamond, thank you very much for what you do. Lady of all talents, that's who you are. And everybody who's been involved in the success of this show. We'll do this again tomorrow by 10:30 a.m. But till then, remain blessed. I'm Sisi the Rabbi, signing out.